In this session, we will deal with the concept of need for political parties. Why do we need political parties? Before we enter into the concept, we know that political parties is a group of people who come together to contest election and hold power in the government. When we speak about the political parties are the visible institutions in a democracy. For most of the ordinary citizens of a country, democracy is equal to political parties. So for example, when you move into the interior regions of villages of India, you can see less educated citizens. When you go and ask them whether you know about the government of our country or what is a constitution, they may not know. Their answer is no. They may not know nothing about our constitution. But at the same time, when you raise about a political party, they are ready to answer about the political party. They know something about the political parties. So for example, when the flood occurs, when an area gets submerged underwater, those people who are less educated, who doesn't know anything about our constitution, they even start blaming about the political parties. They start blaming the political parties. The political party members, the leaders of the political parties, they are not taking any measure to recover the people or the area. So the people start blaming the political parties. So at this particular point of time, parties have become identified with social and political divisions. So over 100 years ago, it was noticed that only few countries of the world, they had political parties. But vice versa, at present, we have most of the countries, except few countries, they don't have the parties. When the people think that the parties are responsible for the entire nation, there arises a question. When any issue takes place in the country, there arises a question in the minds of the people or in the minds of the citizen. Do we need political parties at all? Do we need political parties at all? Yes, political parties are necessary. The reason is that they perform all the functions. For example, parties contest election, parties put forward policies and programs, parties play a decisive role in decision making, parties form and run government, parties play a role of opposition, parties shape public opinion, parties provide access to the government machinery and welfare schemes. Even though the political parties perform these functions, we should understand the necessity of political party by imagining a situation without a political parties. Just imagine if there is no political party. If there is no political party in our democratic country, who will form the government? Who will be the representative to govern the nation? Every candidate, every people in our country will become a candidate to contest an election. Every candidate or every people in the country will be an independent candidate to contest an election. If it takes place, whether the country will perform in a better manner, it is not so. So without political parties, if no political parties are there, every candidate in the elections will be independent. So no one will be able to make any promises to the people, or any changes in the policy cannot be taken. So when the government is formed with the individual's notion, automatically the utility will remain ever uncertain. If no political parties are there in the country, candidates in the election will become independent and no one will be able to make promises to the people or bring some changes in the society. So whatever the government formed by them, it will remain ever uncertain. In such cases, even though if the government has been formed, the elected representatives will be accountable to their constituency. So, for example, I have shown you a picture of a map of Tamil Nadu under that one particular constituency, Erode. So, a representative of that particular constituency, Erode constituency, is to be accountable, and he should be responsible for whatever issues are taking place in that particular area. But if it is an independent candidate who has formed the government, no one will be responsible for how the country will be run. No one will be responsible for how the country will be run. So that is what we need political parties. We have to understand the necessity of political party. So if there is no political party, each and every candidate in the election will be independent, and they cannot make any promises to the people, or they cannot keep up the promises, or they cannot make any major policy changes. When the government is formed, their utility will remain uncertain. So whoever is elected of that particular area, they are responsible for their particular constituency, and no one will be responsible for how the country will be run. Take another case, non-party based elections, that is in the panchayat systems. We know that before 1992, even though decentralization took place, what is decentralization? The power is taken from the central and the state government and given to the local government. The power taken from the central and the state government and is shared to the local government. Even though the power has been shared here, the elections are not conducted in a regular manner. But immediately after the constitutional amendment of 1992, the elections have been made mandatory to be conducted for the local government. So here the parties in the villages, the parties do not contest formally. Parties do not contest formally. So in such cases, the villages, they get split into more than one faction. As I told you, what is faction? Faction is a group within a larger group that has different ideas and opinions than the rest of the group. If there is one group here, in that one group, among that one group, one small area of that group will have a different ideas and opinions from the remaining group. That is what we say it as a faction. So same way, the villages get split into more than one faction, each of which puts up a panel of its candidates for the election. So this is what the party is doing. That is what we can see more number of political parties in different countries of the world. Whether the country is small or whether the country is big, or whether the country is old country or a new country or a developing country or underdeveloped country or a developing country. So that is what we say it as a non-party based election system. When we go with the rise of political parties, the rise of political parties, they are particularly linked with the emergence of representative democracies. As I already told you, the representative democracy is that the people has chosen the representatives to govern the nation. So large societies, India is a large society. So they needed what? Representative democracy. So society become large and complex. They also needed agencies to collect different views on various issues to present these to the government. So for example, in a class, 40 members are there. So all the opinions are collected by a leader or by the class teacher, and it is handed over to the management. So that is what large society, likewise, large society needs agencies to collect different views on various issues to present these to the government. So in such cases, the responsible government has been formed to bring representatives of the societies. They also needed mechanism to support or restrain the government and make policies, justify and oppose them. So they needed a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. So we say political parties are necessary for democracy. Political parties are necessary for democracy. So the rise of political parties, they are directly linked to the emergence of representative democracies. So we need as the society is very large, the country of India is very large, India is a large society, we need a representative democracy to gather all the different views and opinions or issues and present to this government. So that is what a responsible government has been formed to bring various representatives of the society, and they need a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. So in such cases, we can say political parties are necessary for democracy. So you can test yourself by reading these questions. Why modern democracies cannot exist without political party? List out the reason why we find political parties in almost all countries of the world. Why we need representative democracy. In the next session, we will deal with how many parties should we have or who can form a political party. So in the description box, I have given you the link of the functions of the political parties. You can go through it for your better understanding. Thank you.